Most people think that a healthy home means cleaning more, but the real danger isn't dirt. In this video, I want to share 10 easy swaps that you can start with today to make your home healthier and to make you and your family feel better.
Hi, I'm Yulia. I'm a traveler, creator, and life coach inspired by nature. I renovated my home and solo converted my van using natural materials because I believe a home is a sanctuary to support our well-being. Through my channel, I want to help you to create a healthy, non-toxic home that gives you energy to fully live.
As we are approaching the new year, many people like to make New Year's resolutions, set goals and intentions, and often I see goals around health. So how to eat better, exercise more, lose weight, but often people forget about environment. Your home matters in supporting your health goals or potentially interfering. This is a non-sponsored video, so any products or brands you see, these are just products that I use and recommend. I have not been paid by any brands to advertise for them. So your healthy swap number one is your bedding. If you do nothing else, please do this. We spend a third of our lives in bed, recovering, resting. Lots of important processes happen during sleep. What most people don't realize is that in modern bedrooms, there are lots of man-made materials and chemicals which are off-gassing. Not only they're touching your skin and getting absorbed by skin, you're also inhaling these chemicals and they're affecting your lungs and all of internal organs. And off-gassing is increased by heat and pressure. So if you are sleeping in the bedding that contains formaldehyde, flame retardants, synthetic fabrics, plastics, dyes, as it's heated by your body heat and pressure, evaporates into the air. So it's super important to have a clean bedroom, and I'm not just talking about bacteria or dirt or dust. I am talking about having the cleanest materials in your bedroom. Swap things in your bedroom for natural materials, such as 100% cotton or linen, wool. I just made a video about making a kapok pillow. This is my buckwheat. Not really a sleeping pillow, it's more of a support type of pillow. This one has buckwheat, so you can kind of see it. A while ago, I made a mattress video. This is one of the cushions from my van home. I converted my own Sprinter van using non-toxic materials and practices. This is the cushion that I made. Cotton case, wool batting, and underneath is latex. I made a natural mattress for my bedroom and I'm gonna share that video very soon, so stay tuned. This is not the easiest swap in terms of cost. Maybe just take baby steps. Maybe at first you just swap for bed sheets and pillow coverings, and a few months down the road get a couple of natural pillows. Okay, the second swap is your clothes. And I know it's not necessarily your home, but when you wrap things around you, you put things on, you are at home. Try to eliminate synthetically produced fabrics. I want to encourage you to at least go through your wardrobe and start selecting things, especially those that are really close to your body, like your sleepwear, your underwear, bras, maybe t-shirts that are sitting directly on your skin because your skin is absorbing everything. Microplastics, synthetic dyes, chemicals, any fabrics that are treated with specific things, pesticides. If it touches your skin directly, make it low tox. Okay, the third thing is air quality. The smaller your home is, the more important it becomes because the air is more concentrated. If there are any pollutants, you are inhaling them much more frequently. I really like to air out my house frequently if the weather allows for it, because the indoor air can be up to 5 times more polluted than the outdoor air. Of course, I know some people are allergic to pollen or different things that may be present in the outdoor air, or maybe, where you live, pollution is really heavy. So actually closing windows and doors is a better strategy for you. In that case, you may want to invest into a really good air purifier. Also HEPA filters. So if you have a heater or AC, as well as even your vacuum, make sure that all of them have good filtration system. HEPA is typically like a really good one. I also really love using a diffuser. Make sure that you don't overdo it with essential oils. I use organic therapeutic grade essential oils. My favorite brand is Plant Therapy. There's a few brands on the market that are great, and just a few drops in the distilled water, and that helps to purify the air as well as bringing a little scent that is not disruptive hormonally for us. If you have children or pets, make sure you research that first, because a lot of them are potentially dangerous. I also really like using sage from time to time, and I know some people may question that, but there's actually research that burning sage actually cleans the air. I do notice my home is much cleaner, like the air feels lighter and better after I sage my home. So check that out and see if that works for you. The next thing I want to talk about is removing artificial scents. In the last couple of decades, the amount of artificially scented household items has drastically increased. Here's the thing. If it smells really strong, it is most likely fragranced. When the product says fragrance, it means that there is an undisclosed chemical blend. You don't know what's in there. If it is a natural fragrance, they'll typically list it. Like, here's my mouthwash, for example. It has rosemary oil, it has eucalyptus, lemon peel. It's not an undisclosed chemical blend that we don't know what went into it. Here are 2 swaps that I really highly recommend. One is if you are a candle person, swapping your candles for natural beeswax. Like, this one is unscented and refillable, and it's such a gorgeous candle too. I also love to make my own candles. So you get soy wax or beeswax, unscented, melt it. You can do a few drops of natural essential oils. And then I love to reuse jars. Like, this one is from my favorite salsa from Trader Joe's. It burns beautifully, and it also makes amazing gifts as well. I also have this idea for you, making your own fragrance or home fragrance. So I love to use like some sort of rose water and drop a few essential oils in here, and it smells amazing. I always get compliments. I actually made a video on VOCs and clean air in the home. I'll link it here. And at the end of that video, I teach you how to make your own fragrance for yourself or for your home. This is another example. I have a bug spray that I made myself, again, using distilled water and some essential oils. Before we go to the next swap, I wanted to let you know that you can download a detailed PDF guide that includes these 10 swaps, plus some of my favorite products that I use at home. And that could be a good way, a good reminder for you to go through whenever you're ready. Maybe if you're doing a home renovation or building a house from scratch, you can use some of these as reminders. Okay, the next swap is cleaning products. A lot of people believe that the stronger the scent is, the better they are. Or perhaps if they're removing 100% of bacteria is what you need. And yes, in some circumstances you do really need that. However, what's really important is that what you use in your home does not harm you and also doesn't harm the environment. A lot of these harsh chemicals go down the drain and then into our sewer system, into underground waters, killing the earth and plants, and most of these products are not biodegradable. So my invitation to you is to look for simple but super highly effective products that are biodegradable but also can kill the bacteria and protect you and keep your home clean. Let me share a few of my staples. Vinegar. I usually get a big bottle. I use it all the time. It's great for rust and mold. It's also very highly effective if you have hard water. It's an effective cleaner. It can be used in combination with baking soda as well. This is if you need whitening or removal of oils and things like that. I stopped using store-bought cleaners. I make my own. It's very easy. I made a video about it a while ago. Check that out. But my staples are Salsoud and Pure Castile soap by Dr. Bronner's. So you just use a little bit of it. You get a bottle, use distilled water, mix it with Castile soap, and add some essential oils. I really love lavender, tea tree, peppermint, eucalyptus. I just put a few drops of those and they help with they have different healing properties and cleansing properties. Sometimes I use more of one or the other. Say if I have ants problem or spiders, I'll probably use a little bit more eucalyptus or peppermint. If I need a little extra cleansing power, I'll use borax powder or washing soda. You can also buy natural cleaners, and when you buy them, make sure they don't just say fragrance. They actually list out rosemary, eucalyptus, peppermint, whatever is in there, you want to know. So keep it simple, affordable, healthy for you, for your home, for the environment, for the earth. Let's talk about the next swap. It is in your kitchen. And what I want to invite you to do is to replace all plastic containers with glass. So remove all plastics from your kitchen area, food prep, because plastics leach into food, especially when they're heated, and plastics cause hormone disruption and many other problems. They're carcinogenic potentially in our bodies. So they're just not good. The other thing that I use is reusable silicone bags. These are like Ziploc bags, but you can wash them and they work. They're really effective and they come in different sizes. You can put them in the dishwasher or rinse them. I use them when I hike, I use them at home, I use them when I travel. Since we're talking about that swap and reducing plastics, even just like a stretch type of plastic. This is an old one, you could see the containers already falling apart. I've stopped using it. That's why I have this like probably from 10 or 15 years ago, because I haven't thrown it away. I just use it little by little here and there, but almost never. I replaced both the plastic and the aluminum foil. Just not good for your food. Don't bake with it, don't wrap your food with it. Instead, what I am opting out for is a parchment paper. Typically, I use unbleached parchment paper, and that's how I bake or wrap my food around it. Speaking of plastics, here's a small swap but a huge impact for you. Please consider swapping your plastic cutting boards with bamboo or wood. I know there's a lot of discussion around why plastic cutting boards are better. You can disinfect them, you can clean them better. However, Think about that. Every time when you cut on a plastic board, it sheds a little bit of plastic, which goes into your food. And you eating that, you digesting it. So your food may be full of microplastics, and that potentially in the long run is very disruptive to the system. Again, could be carcinogenic and disrupts hormones as well. Please consider using these boards. However, you do need to take better care of them, clean them pretty much immediately. Don't leave them in water. There are some cracks now showing up on this cutting board. The useful life of this cutting board is done because now bacteria can live in those cracks. And yes, that could potentially be dangerous. Taking good care of your cutting boards, wiping them immediately, cleaning them, not soaking them in water is going to be essential. However, it is so much healthier for you. This is a natural material. Even if you eat a little bit of wood or bamboo, it's gonna go through your system. It's not gonna poison you. And the one thing that I really love about cutting boards is you can sand them down, which I do periodically with my boards. And I make my own wood sealant with wax. And I usually use like food grade mineral oil. You could even just use that by itself. If you want it to be waterproof, you add a little bit of beeswax and melt that together. I will probably share the recipe if there is interest. This is such a simple, easy swap, very inexpensive, and these boards also look gorgeous. Like I'll often even just serve like pizza or bread or cheese board, like I'll just put it and serve it on my cutting boards as well. This next swap is foundational. It's not an easy one, it does cost money, but it is extremely important for our health, and that is water. So having access to drinking water, but also good water for you to take showers, for your appliances to work effectively and efficiently. Ideally, you want to have some sort of water filtration system for the whole home. Tap water often contains bacteria, heavy metal, fluoride, chemical residues, chlorine. Check the water report for your house, because in some areas tap water is extremely healthy. Ideally, you want to have a filtration for the whole home, or at the very least in your showers and maybe above the sink or below the sink. You could also buy drinking water or have on the counter filtration systems. So I've used Berkey before, and now I buy water from local water shops. I have like 3-gallon glass bottles that I refill. If you are buying drinking water, please do not buy plastic bottles, especially small plastic bottles, because we are trashing the environment, and also the amount of microplastics that will leach into your water is pretty big. I want to talk about materials that we have in our home. So think of it this way. Every single thing that you have in your home actually off-gases. And whether or not you can smell it, there is a little bit of that evaporation happening, especially on the hot days. Plus, we also touch these things, right? We touch and absorb the elements into our bodies. Plastic, laminates, linoleum, MDF, man-made materials, they all off-gas. And of course, so are wood and clay and stone and tile and ceramics. All of those things, they all off-gas. However, the difference is our body naturally is by default familiar with rocks and wood and stone and tile and ceramics, because those are materials that exist in nature, and our body has thousands of years of wisdom and being familiar with these materials. Whereas with man-made materials, often the body doesn't even have the capability to break them down or to even recognize them. Immune systems work extra hard trying to discern what these materials are. Often the immune system responds with an attack. So here is a swap for you, and perhaps it's not a fast and easy one, but just over time becoming more and more aware of what products, what materials you are using in your home. So for example, I'm sitting in, this is a wooden chair, hardwood chair, and this is cotton. And yes, underneath it is foam, and I'm aware of it, and I would rather maybe upholster my own chair. I don't have time to do that. So that is off-gassing. It's not ideal situation, but where I can, I make my own cushions, my own pillows, my own upholstery. I use hardwood floors that are oiled, that don't have toxic glues, low VOC or no VOC paints in my home. And typically for wood, we'll use my own stains or my own sealants. Like I'll prefer to use oil instead of polyurethane, for example. Fantastic materials for your home are tile, clay, rocks, stone, wood. Just think of it like, does it exist in nature? And if it does, then it's probably safer to bring into your home. So if you are doing a renovation or considering building your home, please include that into your decision making. It's not just the cost, it's also the quality and the health aspect of your materials that's going to matter. Go with natural, non-toxic, organic materials that do exist in nature, because your body by default will recognize them. Here is the last swap that I want to bring up to your attention, and I know this is a controversial one. There's still discussions and studies being made, but I think it's a very important one. And that is EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. So that includes Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, your cell phone reception and radiation. There are more and more people who are EMF sensitive. Most people don't feel it. However, it does interfere with the way our bodies work. Something that I've implemented in my own house years ago, probably like 15 years at this point, I turn off my Wi-Fi at night. And I know it's just a small sliver because there's Wi-Fi from the neighbors, there's cell phone reception. I have used a timer in the past where like after midnight it turns it off. Now I just flip the switch off on my router and turn it off at night and turn it on in the morning. You can do whatever serves you best, and then just notice how much more rested your body feels in the morning. If you can reduce EMF exposure at night, that is the most ideal scenario. I also will add here, I built my van and I have an electric cabinet further away from my bed, and I always turn them off at night. And I have a insulation that is preventing a lot of that radiation coming through. So it's sort of like a Faraday cage. I think it's great that we have global connectivity and technology, but it's also extremely important for our bodies to have a still and safe place to rest. Before we end, a little bonus, and that I think is so important for a healthy home. If you are able to have live plants like this guy right here, plant babies, they support our bodies, they bring more life into a home, more oxygen, calmer and more soothing vibe in general. So if you tend to feel overwhelmed or stressed or anxious, they naturally bring more groundedness into the home. And I also want to invite you to perhaps plant a few seeds or get a few organic herbs that you can use as you cook. Like fantastic ones are rosemary or basil, dill, thyme, sage. You can even have them in little pots in the house if you don't have a garden, but if you have a garden, plant them outside. So even having one herb on your window or one plant in the house, perhaps maybe on your table or your workspace, can bring so much life and change the energy of the space drastically. So in closing, here are some rules of thumb. If you touch it, it should be low toxin or no toxin. If you smell it, it should be natural. If you sleep on it, high quality. And the smaller your home is, the more these choices matter. I know I just shared a lot of information, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed or stressed like you have to do everything. You can just start with one swap that you think is most important for you or maybe most affordable, and your home will start supporting you immediately. I know it's gonna make a difference and you are going to feel it. I also want to remind you that you can download a PDF guide that I created for you. It's free and it has all of these 10 swaps with some of the materials and products that I use from my family to yours. These are products that I've been using for years and practices that I've had for a long time that I'm sharing with you. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I wanted to wish you health and happiness in the new year, and hope to see you soon on my channel.